It was a cold autumn night when Jeremy, a freelance photographer with a penchant for urban exploration, received an unusual tip. A fellow enthusiast had mentioned a ghost house deep in the woods of Black Hollow. According to local legend, the house appeared only on certain nights, and anyone who entered it never came out the same. Jeremy, armed with his camera and driven by a thirst for the unknown, couldn't resist the opportunity. The journey to Black Hollow was uneventful, but the air grew heavier as Jeremy parked his car at the edge of the forest. With a flashlight in one hand and his camera in the other, he ventured into the woods. The moonlight barely penetrated the dense canopy, and the rustling of leaves underfoot was the only sound accompanying him. After an hour of walking, Jeremy spotted it. A large, decrepit Victorian-style house looming in a clearing. Its windows were dark voids, and its paint peeled away like old skin. The house seemed to exude an unnatural stillness, as if the surrounding forest held its breath. Jeremy hesitated for a moment, feeling an unexplainable dread, but curiosity won, as it always did. He approached the front door, which creaked open on its own as he reached for the handle. The air inside was musty and cold. The interior was a snapshot of another era. Faded wallpaper, antique furniture covered in dust, and a grand chandelier swaying gently without a breeze. As he moved through the house, he began to notice oddities. The layout felt inconsistent. Hallways seemed longer than they should be, and doors led to rooms that defied logic. A small bathroom opened into a sprawling library, and a closet door revealed a staircase spiraling downward into blackness. Jeremy's unease grew when he started hearing faint whispers. At first, he dismissed them as his imagination, but they grew louder and more distinct. The voices sounded urgent, pleading, "Help us," one voice whispered. "Leave now," warned another. A loud bang echoed through the house. Jeremy froze. His flashlight beam quivered as he turned toward the source of the sound. As he pushed the door open, he found himself in a room unlike any he had seen before. The walls were lined with mirrors, each reflecting not the room but different haunting scenes. Jeremy found the room empty. Panic set in. He tried to retrace his steps, but the house seemed to shift around him. Hallways twisted, stairs led nowhere, and doors he swore he had just come through now opened into different spaces. Then he heard it. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, and getting closer. Spinning around, Jeremy came face to face with a figure cloaked in shadow, its eyes glowing faintly. The figure raised a hand, pointing at him, and Jeremy felt an overwhelming sense of despair. Finally, he burst through a door and found himself outside. The house was gone, replaced by an empty clearing. Back home, Jeremy reviewed the photos he had taken. Every image was the same. A black void, except for the last one. It showed the room of mirrors, but now all the reflections were of him, staring back with hollow, lifeless eyes. Jeremy tried to warn others about the house at Black Hollow, but no one believed him. Over the next few weeks, he grew increasingly paranoid. He started seeing fleeting shadows in the corners of his vision and hearing whispers in the silence. One night, Jeremy disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only his camera. The final image on it was a blurry photo of the house, standing ominously in the woods. Once,